Step three, your main offering. Now, understanding the uniqueness of your main offerings, your main products and services is so important. So in step two, we talked about your zone of genius. So your zone of genius is obviously going to be linked to the product and or services that you offer. Now, in a business, it's always important to focus on one product or service at a time and to really it's like if you try and focus on too many things, right? You are trying to put like I don't believe in a business that you should always put all your eggs in one basket and lots of things and advertising and all that and different things. But if you cannot really focus on the main foundation of what your business is based on, and you don't really understand the benefits and advantage of your product service, if you're not able to really build on one thing first, what happens is that you can have all these things and you're not really getting traction on the main thing that is the biggest seller or the biggest foundation of what your business should be built on. And your main offering always has to be aligned with where most of your clients are going to begin their journey with you, because you will have some clients that will start their journey and they will grow with you, and yeah, there'll be some clients that come on that are further on, okay, and they may come to you for other level of projects. But it's so important that you start your business on your foundation or your main offering, right? So it's important that you understand what we talked about in step two, your zone of genius, and that you understand the main offering that your clients will buy and understand all the benefits, even the promises that you can guarantee in that product or service, or maybe even the things that you know you can't guarantee. When you're clear about that, again, you start to understand who's going to be your audience and who's not. But you have to know your offering well. You need to really know it inside out. One of the big things that can cause a holistic business a problem, not just in the beginning, but actually in the long term, is that they are so mesmerized by maybe what they've been taught in a training school about a certain, for example, or a tool or a technique or a modality, that they get so swept up in that they sell what the training school told them it can help. And they sell all these possibilities. But in reality, when they start working after a few years down the line, they realize that what they're selling is maybe not, it was absolutely amazing, maybe shit hot, excuse the French, for some things that they're selling, right? They can really help clients and in a powerful, amazing way with certain things. But guess what? There were certain things that didn't really help certain types of clients, or certain clients didn't come back and, you didn't get the feedback that you hoped, and what's happened there is you've tried to oversell or trying to make your offering fit for everything. And sometimes it's not often the therapist or the healer or the coach's fault. It's often what the training skill implies. And I'll give you some examples. So I've studied things like aromatherapy, I studied flower essences, I've studied color therapy, I studied Indian head massage. I studied all sorts of healing modalities, from Reiki, from Metatronic therapy, to so many different types of healing modalities, so many different types of stress management. I was taught so many different types of meditation, mindfulness, so many different things. And there's all different levels to that, and there's all different types of teachings. And there's some things that are very fast and effective. Some things are more shorter term. Some things can make an impact right away. But many of these things were sold as helping almost everything, but not everything was the best. And very few were the best for most of the things that they said they were. And it's always about finding and identifying what your products and services is absolutely amazing at. right? And if you then focus on the offerings that you do have and that you want to offer, and then focus on what is going to give your most aligned clients the biggest impact, and you build your business around that, that is like a gold mine. Part of it is understanding your golden egg, is understanding your gold in your business. What is your gold? And your gold is often linked to your zone of genius in relation to your life and soul gifts, because you often will deliver that offering in a unique way. And one of the biggest things is, if you don't know yourself and don't see yourself objectively, you don't recognize the golden egg in your business, and you don't recognize the golden egg in your offerings. And I'm going to give you an example. So, because I invested very highly in my training, even though I spent a large part of my life in a very, very low income, people would be shocked at how much money, considering what I was making, invested back in to my business and my training. But I also had certain things, like, for example, when I did stress management, at one point, my insurance, I had to take 2 insurance policies out because I was doing certain types of workshops. It wasn't just stress management. I was doing things for I did cosmetic making workshops and things for kids and all that. And I had 2 policies, and it was £2,000 in insurance alone. And I was only able to work physically part-time. I could do other things on downtime, like sitting behind a computer, but I wasn't well enough to do a lot of things physically. Now, that wasn't just outbounds. I also had to be member of professional bodies to do with some of the things that I was in to get certain types of work. So I was out quite a few £1,000s before all my other costs, all my advertising costs, and other. So it was taking a big dent in my budget and my ability to make a profit. So it was like almost just the most kind of what appeared to me as obvious was that I just needed to get corporate work, and that would help pay for my products and services. But it just didn't. It was, I had so many brick walls, so many things happened, I attracted so many negative situations. I found myself in getting into teach stress management and ended up more stressed to do with my disabilities. It did not suit my circumstances. It was not aligned with me or my zone of genius, and it wasn't aligned with my core values. So guess what? It ended up with, I could end up paying for it several days after to do one session, and it just was a bit of a nightmare. Not going to say a nightmare, it felt like a nightmare at the time. Where actually there was other work that I didn't have to invest money in to advertise to get the work. There was work that I did. I'd done lots of courses, external courses, and I was willing to do lots of courses to get my foot in the door with local education, charity, and health sector. So I'd done the work for a few years by getting, and I'd done certain work that some people just wouldn't do, but I was willing to do it because I really was passionate about being able to be a tutor and a facilitator and all that. And guess what? Once I get my foot in the door, and I was easily liked, and people could see the value in what I did. And also, a lot of the things, I was very generous in what I gave. I was very thorough. And a lot of these organizations liked my core values, and they liked what I couldn't see at the time was the caregiver, the nurturing aspect. I was very about safe and effective practice because I had a lot of training and insight and knowledge about different things. I could see out of the box and see their clients, and I could see pitfalls and possibilities of things that you shouldn't do, that many therapists and things were not coming in with that level of insight. So I kept getting repeat work. Didn't need to spend on advertising. I didn't need to do lots of things to get the work. And yeah, I still had to rest just to do with my circumstances, but it wasn't as debilitating. And guess what? I was so focused on the other work that I was keeping my eye off the ball, and I wasn't focusing on the golden egg. Didn't see the golden egg. I didn't see what of my main offerings were my golden egg. And actually, I'll be honest, some of it I started to see, some of it wasn't till I left that type of work for a variety of reasons, and mostly it was due to another circumstance that happened to me where I ended up with sepsis and I ended up quite ill. I had to change how I'd done work. And it wasn't until after that I realised, oh my goodness me, it was right in front of me. I was already partly doing it, but I made things really complicated for myself. I didn't see my uniqueness, and I didn't see the uniqueness of my main products and services. Yes, I got certain types of work because I showed up and I was authentic and I was actually aligned. But guess what? I was putting a large part of my energy in something that wasn't aligned, and that was the ego. On one level, I didn't think I was enough. And also, I was so focused on just the money and this fear and lack state that and kept focusing on all these outgoings, that I was giving my power over to something that was not aligned with my purpose and where my path was. And it's very easy to do that in a business. And I see a lot of coaches, particularly nowadays, will see, I mean, I started investing in lots of coaching programs about 30 years ago. And one of the saddest things that I see about the coaching industry is like it's full of very poor quality coaching and poor quality coaching principles, and it's encouraging anyone and their granny just to be a coach. And it's almost just it's like sold now as if you can charge whatever you want if you're a coach. And you can charge, that's your choice, but it's not always in alignment. And what's happening now is that we're in a situation where there's people are sold a lot of things about just charging this amount of money so you can make so much money, and just increasing what you name the price and your clients will pay. But if you're not resonating and you're not truly doing what you're really here to do, and you're not really in your zone of genius, your clients will resent you. And even if they don't tell you, they will resent you, or they will be frustrated by what you've served, right? And in a soul line business, we want our clients to feel really, you want to make them feel as if you've overgave in some way, and the respect that they've got more than what they expected. You never ever want someone to feel as if they've got less than what they expected. Yeah, there can be a difference when a client is very naive and doesn't want to do the work and expects almost they're kind of wanting something for nothing, or just want you to do all the work for them. That's a completely different thing. But you always want to be in your zone of genius, and you want to be offering products and service that not just that you think is a high value, it's about your audience. It's easy for us to think something is of high value and is what people want and is absolutely amazing because we believe it. And your main offerings has to be what your audience want and what they will value. And one of the biggest challenges for some people is getting out their own way and not taking it personally if someone does not feel aligned with your products and services. It's not a personal thing, it's what is right for them. And I'll give you something, for example, I had a situation the last couple of weeks. I joined a Facebook group, and the coach literally, when I left the group, was definitely not aligned with my core values. Some of the principles that were getting taught, I just felt it just was, let's put it this way, it was the opposite of everything that I would teach in my core values. And basically the person in the group was actually stalking me after it to go back in the group. And there was nothing about the group that was aligned. So I was trying to be polite and say, well, I'm looking for something more spiritual. It's not really. And then the person was like, well, my group, we have spiritual people on this. And it reeked of desperation. It reeked of control. It reeked of power. And yeah, we all do. I can be a wee bit. I come from a family where I suppose we come from a strict background, and there was a wee bit of control comes in, and there's all of that. But I would never start going in if people didn't want to be in my group. I only want people in my group who would like to be in my group, even if they're friends of mine and they're not in my group. It does not bother me at all. And it shouldn't bother me because it should never be personal. We should want what is right for our audience. And even if they're not on audience, we should want the best for them and want them to go who's most aligned with them. But this person was clearly trying to bully me into going back into her group, and she was trying to force me to believe that this was the right group for me. She obviously didn't understand me, and she didn't also really understand her own offering and who it may be suitable for and what it was not suitable for. So she was taking it as a personal slight, where at the end of the day, you actually have to, even though when we are running a soul line business and a spiritual business, a lot of us obviously it's an extension of us. But we have to understand that our products and services are not going to be aligned with everyone. And even the people that you think might be aligned with, there might be something else that you're missing that you cannot see that means it's not. But the more that you understand what you're offering, and the more that you focus on your greatest offering, that is going to build a foundation. But if you focus on starting off with products and services that are not really that aligned with your audience, or you're not really that great at, well, you're building your business on like basic shoddy foundation. So it's always important to build your business on your strongest foundation at this point. Now, it might change a month, 6 months, 6 years, 20 years, 30 years later. But at the moment, what is the uniqueness and what is the unique benefits and the most powerful benefits of the main product and service that you are offering that is most aligned with your gifts? It's most aligned with your zone of genius. Okay. Bye for now. Oh, before I go, if you want to look at this, if you want to explore this in, a more deeper way, if you actually, my 5 pillars of business success, which is part of the spiritual market membership, you can also get it separately, but it is part of the membership, which gives you so much access to so many things. That goes into different things. Also, creating products that your clients want is another module that really helps you hone in the products and services that are most aligned with your clients. Okay, bye for now.